Hey everyone, thank you for watching my channel. My name is Amanda and it's Friday family movie night here in my house. And tonight we are having Crockpot pulled pork bowls and also peanut butter oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, ice cream sandwich style. For the Crockpot pulled pork, I am actually using my Ninja Foodi Possible Cooker Pro. You can also use your Crockpot if you do not have one of these. I absolutely love this. So I'm going to use a 3 to 4 pound Boston butt. And I'm going to go ahead and just place the pork right into my Ninja Foodi Possible Cooker Pro. We're going to take 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Now mix all these together to make sure that it's nicely combined. Now take the seasoning mix and dump it on the top of the pork, and then you're just going to want to pat it onto the top. You can, if you would like to, coat it on all sides by rubbing it in, but it's perfectly fine by just doing this like I'm doing right here. I really love Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. It's gluten-free, and we're going to use 1.5 cups of the barbecue sauce. Take the barbecue sauce and just pour it over top of the pork. You will need 1 cup of chicken broth, and this chicken broth is gluten-free, and I got this from Aldi's. And when you pour it in, you're just going to want to pour it on the sides of the Boston butt, not on the top, because you don't want to lose any of that barbecue flavor or the seasoning mix that we added on as well. So just pour it on around the sides. I split mine up into doing 1/2 cup first and then mixed the sides around, and then I added another 1/2 cup of the chicken broth. That way I got the amount that I wanted into the crock pot. Go ahead and turn your crock pot on or your Ninja Foodi Possible Cooker Pro. We're going to put ours on the slow cook setting. We're going to set it on for low, and we're going to cook it for 8 hours. Now that our Boston butt is cooking in the crock pot, we're going to go ahead and start on our vanilla ice cream. The reason why I'm going to start on this now is because you're going to want to let it sit in your freezer for a while. So go ahead and put in 2 cups of milk. Add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. Add 1 cup of white sugar. Add 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. The reason I like to put this in the blender and blend it is because you want your sugar to nicely dissolve in the liquid. You don't want your ice cream to be all grainy. So you're just going to blend this for like a good 30 seconds. You don't want to blend it any longer because you don't want the whipped cream to start really forming when you're blending it at the speed. You just want the sugar to dissolve. That's what our goal is right here. I am using my KitchenAid ice cream attachment to make ice cream in. It is amazing. You're going to put it in your freezer for over 24 hours. If you hear any liquid shaking in it when you shake it, it's definitely not ready to make ice cream in it. You want to make sure that it is solid and you don't hear any liquid shaking inside. Now you're going to go ahead and add your attachments in and then pour your liquid in. And we're going to go ahead and put it onto stir setting number 2. Now that you have it turned on, you're going to set your timer for 25 minutes. Here's what it looks like with 7 minutes left on the clock. You can see that it is really starting to form. 25 minutes is up. We're going to go ahead and turn it off, and we're going to go ahead and put it into a container so we can put it in the freezer, so that way we can let it sit in the freezer for a good well over 6 to 7 hours. That's why I wanted to get the crock pot going first and then get my ice cream done second, so that way it can really start to form in the freezer. When you first make ice cream, it is going to be like a soft serve, but then putting it in the refrigerator, it's going to have a nice form to it, and that's what makes it a nice ice cream. So go ahead and remove the attachments from the inside and then just scrape it all out, and then we're going to scoop out the ice cream using a silicone spatula, because that way you don't scratch up the inside coating of the ice cream attachment bowl. Now I'm going to go ahead and wipe the edges of the container, so that way when I put the lid on, it's going to close nicely and nothing's going to come out the side. That way it stays nicely sealed when I have it in the freezer. And again, put it in the freezer for over 6 to 7 hours. That way it's a nice form for ice cream. It's nice texture. It's just like something you get at the grocery store. I actually don't recall the last time I bought ice cream from the grocery store, because I just make it so much at home these days and everyone is very happy with it. Now we're going to go ahead and start on the gluten-free peanut butter oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, and I'm doubling the recipe, so we're going to need 4 eggs. Mix your eggs until they are well beaten. Add 2 cups of peanut butter. Add 2/3 cups of maple syrup. Now you're going to want to mix until all the wet ingredients are well combined. Now you're going to need 3 cups of gluten-free oatmeal. You need a half teaspoon of baking soda. You will need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and this is optional. It definitely tastes really good adding this. 1 teaspoon of salt. Now mix all the dry ingredients in with the wet, and it will be thick, but just make sure that it is nicely well combined. I am adding 1.5 cups of chocolate chips because who doesn't like a lot of chocolate chips? So this will be really tasty, and I love when you have a nice warm cookie and the chocolate chips just are so melty. Ooh, it's so good. Anyways, go ahead and add this in, and then we're going to go ahead and mix this as well. Don't forget to get all that good cookie dough off the blades and scrape down your sides so that way it makes it easy when you go to scoop it out on the cookie sheet. I am using aluminum foil. You can use parchment paper if you would like. I don't know, but I really like using aluminum foil when making cookies because for some reason my cookies, they just form very well, and I don't know, I just have better luck with it on aluminum foil. But anyways, you're going to go ahead and spray your aluminum foil with pan spray, and I'm going to use a measuring cup to scoop these out. Look how nice this dough looks. That way then they're going to be mound full. So you can basically make the size that you would like. I am going to make mine kind of big because I want to make them nice and big for putting ice cream in between them. Now this cookie batter is actually very thick, so I did not spray my measuring cup with any Pam spray so it would glide out easily. The dough, it definitely has a very different texture to it, being that, you know, there is no flour in this. It's just maple syrup, peanut butter, eggs, and, you know, everything that else went in it, but it's definitely very different than your normal cookie batter. Now we are going to go ahead and bake them in our preheated oven of 350 degrees, and we're going to bake them between 9 to 12 minutes. And for this size, I actually baked mine for 12 minutes. Look how nice and big those look. I left them in for 12 minutes in the oven. I definitely checked on them between, so that way, you know, I didn't want to burn them, but I didn't want to not cook them thoroughly because I made them so large. But look how tasty those look. They're not going to last long. My kids are going to devour these. Now I wanted to test out the size that I made them the first batch. So we're going to get another cookie sheet because we're going to let those ones cool for 10 minutes on the tray before I move them. So we're going to just repeat the steps of spraying the aluminum foil with some Pam spray, and we're going to try making some more different shapes to see if I like some of the smaller ones better than the bigger ones. It has been 10 minutes and it is time to open one of these cookies up and see how the inside looks, and look at that inside. So tasty. The chocolate chips are nice and melted, and I can't wait to taste it. Let me tell you, oh goodness, it tastes amazing. The kids are going to be happy. The second batch is done. I definitely like the bigger size of them, and I think the next time I make these, I'm gonna make them in the bigger shape, but then really try to flatten them before I put them in the oven, so that way when I make the cookie ice cream sandwiches again doing this, that way they're flatter, but it still was really tasty adding the vanilla ice cream on the inside of this. The kids had one each with a glass of milk, and they really liked it, and they cannot wait to have it with ice cream in the middle after dinner. There is about an hour left on the clock for the barbecue pulled pork, so I'm going to go ahead and start getting everything else prepped and ready that we are having with our barbecue pulled pork bowls. For the bowls, we are using white rice, and you can use any white rice you would like. Just follow the directions on the package of how to make them. For this one, I'm actually using jasmine rice that I got from Costco because I got a fairly large bag of it and I still have some left to use up. We are also going to be having coleslaw in the bowl as well. So I got a bag of coleslaw mix from Aldi's, and I have some coleslaw dressing that my husband picked up. So I want to use that up with this. So I'm using about half a bag, and then I'm going to use about a good 4 tablespoons of the coleslaw salad dressing mix that my husband got. And it is gluten free, which is really nice about that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and mix it all in together, and if you need more, go ahead and add more. I first started off with 3 tablespoons of the coleslaw dressing, mixed it up, and then I added another 1 tablespoon of the coleslaw. So use your best judgment of how much coleslaw dressing you would like for it. We are also adding corn to our barbecue pork bowls. I thought this would be a nice little crunch to it, as well as the coleslaw. I still have not gotten to Costco in a while, so I've definitely been stocking up on things when I get to Aldi's. It is nice that the prices are great and it's really close by to my house. So I got a lot of block cheese and the price was really great for it. And things have been perfect because we snack on it, but also I use it in recipes too when I make things for dinner. So it just works out really nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and shred the entire block of the Colby Jack cheese, and it'll be so tasty putting this on the barbecue pulled pork bowls. It'll be really nice. Our barbecue pulled pork is done, and look how nice it looks. There's actually only 30 minutes left on the clock, but it's definitely done. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it out, and I'm going to let it cool down on the platter that I pulled out. And I'm going to cut mine into slices first, so that way I can let it cool a little bit faster, so that way when I shred it up, I'm not going to burn my fingers. While the pork is cooling down, I'm just kind of getting everything out that I need for the barbecue pulled pork bowls and just reshuffling things around so that way, I have how I want it to be set up. I'm actually going to take some of the liquid from the Ninja Foodi Possible Cooker Pro and put it into my bowl because I don't want that liquid to go to waste. I'm not going to use all of it. I'm just going to use some of it. Now that it's been a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and cut the pork into slices so that way it definitely cools down a lot faster. So that way when I go to shred it, I can use my fingers and using a knife to help cut it so that way it cuts faster. I just don't want to burn my fingertips, so definitely by cutting this, it's going to allow it to cool down a little bit more and make it more manageable for me. Look how nice that looks. I really love getting Boston butt, especially when it's on sale. I always try to get it when it's around like 99 cents a pound, and then I put it in my freezer, and then it's just perfect. It makes great meals for my family. And then it always has nice leftovers too, which is perfect for my family size. I love leftovers. And I figured, we're going to do the barbecue pulled pork bowls tonight, and then we can do something different another night with it. Like we could do sandwiches, take hamburger buns and then put the coleslaw in with the bun with the barbecue pulled pork that way, and then serve it with beans or french fries. There's so many different things you can do with the barbecue pulled pork. You can even put it over nachos, or you can make loaded french fries with cheese and then the barbecue pulled pork on top. There's so many different things you can do with it. Even make tacos. So I really like this, and it also freezes up nicely as well even after you've cooked it. And when you do that, if you freeze it, then it's good in the freezer for up to 3 months. This is so nice. I love how this pork filled up this entire bowl for my family. Look how tasty this looks. Now we're going to go ahead and toss this in with the sauce that we put on the bottom. Now we're going to go ahead and add more of the liquid from the Ninja Foodi Possible Cooker Pro. And Now this is a preference. You can add as much as you want to it. I just don't want a lot of this good liquid to go to waste. So we're going to add more to it. And then we're going to add another half a cup of the barbecue sauce. Adding the barbecue sauce to this, it will help thicken up the liquid barbecue sauce that we added to it. So that way it's not so runny when you are, adding it to a sandwich or other things. Now that everything is ready, it's time to go ahead and start putting our barbecue pulled pork bowls together. And I'm going to start off by adding white rice to the bottom of the bowls. Now we are going to go ahead and add our barbecue pulled pork on top of the rice. Now adding the corn, and you can have this warm or cold. We are doing warm for ours. Now I am adding some of the cheese on top of the corn, so that way some of this cheese will melt and it'll be really nice and tasty. And now I'm going to add some of the coleslaw on top of the cheese, and then I'm going to sprinkle some more cheese again on top of the coleslaw, so that way there is still some cold cheese. Now I'm going to take some of the barbecue sauce and just garnish it on the top of the barbecue pork bowls. And then for my husband and myself, I am using some sriracha sauce on ours. The kids, obviously, they won't do this, so it's too hot for them. And then I'm also going to put some jalapenos and ghost peppers on mine and my husband's that are from my garden. He's getting the ghost peppers on his. I am definitely not doing ghost peppers. It's too hot. But look how nice and tasty those look. Adding the cheese on top of the warm corn made the cheese melt, so it was really nice and gooey. I liked that. I really like, cheese where it's gooey and melted, but I also like when you have like certain meals and you have like fresh cold cheese as well on top. So this was perfect how I layered everything in there. It was really tasty. Everyone loved it. My kids absolutely loved it, and they are requesting this again. And we also had tortilla chips with this, which gave it a nice crunch. Okay, it is dessert time. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed dinner, but let's get down to business. This dessert, it was amazing. So instead of doing a full-size cookie for my kids and myself, my husband was going to have one later. So I made 3 for one for me, and then one each for my 2 older kids. My youngest, he was already sleeping by this time. But anyway, so I cut the cookie in half, and then I stuffed the inside with the vanilla ice cream, and this worked out so nice. It was perfect, very filling, but the cookie was very soft, which made this ice cream sandwich so tasty. I really love this vanilla ice cream. It is so tasty. I will have the vanilla ice cream and as well as the other recipes listed in the description box down below. But look how tasty these look. We had these while we watched the movie Halloween Town, one of our favorites to watch every Halloween. And I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed what I made. Please subscribe. I hope you guys had a great Friday and a wonderful weekend. Thank you for watching. Take care, guys.